Hi everyone. Facebook, YouTube. Yeah, I know it's a little bit weird, but my phone's plugged in right over there, so I have to do this angle. So today we're going to talk about two things. The first is going to be slavery, and I don't know the sign for slavery. I don't. I'm guessing that it's people captured. I don't know. And I will look it up. I will. But I think I'm going to forego the signing today. Yesterday, I got into a discussion on Facebook with somebody over a picture that I posted, and it was actually supposed to be satirical. It showed the basically how slaves were brought over to America, and the caption for it said, Americans didn't care that immigrants were coming over when they were packaged like this. And if you look back at how slaves were brought over, they were packed into boats like sardines. They had no room to move. They had nothing. Most of them were probably naked, and they were treated like cattle. That's it. And the man that I got into the discussion with, who subsequently blocked me immediately, said, it's the Africans' fault because they were the ones who sold each other to white men and said, here, go ahead and have them, give me riches. We're going to go ahead and clarify a few things real quick. And this needs clarification. During the time of slavery, British imperialism was at its highest. Great Britain had conquered most of India, most of Africa. So to say that, they were able to sell each other to white men, it's false. Because should the imperialists, the people who were basically in charge of most major countries at that time, the only place that they didn't imperialize was China, because they couldn't, because China was a force to be reckoned with. And China did some imperializing themselves. They imperialized the South Pacific. They did. That's why we have so many different Chinese cultures. Taiwanese, Japanese. Korea, both Koreas, North and South, they were once an imperialist nation, were once part of the imperialist nation of China. But the issue is that imperialist Britain would not have just sat there and said, oh, you don't want to sell each other? Okay, that's fine. They would have most likely shot the people who refused to sell slaves to them. So it's ignorant, first of all, to sit there and say, the black people sold themselves to us, so it's and it's not our fault. That's called racism denial. And it's huge. It's still going on today. Racism denial happens all the time. It does, because people don't want to admit their own faults. I'll be honest, I'm a little bit racist. I don't like certain people. Not because of the skin of their color, but because of how they've acted and how they've treated me in the past. Does it make it right? No, it doesn't. Sorry. Does it mean that I'm right? No, God, no. It does not. Does it mean that I should probably learn to get over those things and move on and try to be a little more open towards other cultures? Probably, yeah. And I am learning that. I'm learning to do that because, you know what? To hate specific people for the way that somebody else has treated me, or, whatever. I've lived all over the country. I have. I've lived in the Carolinas. I've lived in Arizona. I've been around minorities, which are slowly becoming not minorities. They are actually overtaking those areas, and that's fine. It is. I need to find out what we're listening to in here, because I like this song. I do. Anyways, so the second thing that we're going to talk about is Charlie Chaplin's speech. I just watched it again for like the umpteenth time, and it is a speech that if I am elected president, I will most likely play the day of my inauguration. I won't make a speech. I'll let him make my speech for me. In it, he basically says, man is not machinery, and while we have created vast amounts of mechanical ingenuity and we have made our lives better through machinery, we have to remember that we are not machines. Our army is not a machine, and for those men who sit there and fight for something that they don't wholeheartedly believe in, they need to take a step back and question the orders that they're given. They do. Senseless wars, a lot of military personnel don't believe in the wars that they're fighting in, but they have to do it because they are given an order. And the thing is that they're not a machine. Sometimes you need to question what's being told to you. Sometimes you need to sit there and say, wait, this doesn't feel right, because a lot of times it's not. I'm just going to say it. It's not. So that's all that I have to say. That's all that I have to say today. I almost teared up over Charlie Chaplin's speech again. He's my hero, honestly. And this was made back in I can't even remember when it was made. I'll look it up and I'll mention it in my next video, but it hurts. It hurts to see that and to sit there and say, holy shit, this was made so long ago, and yet mankind continues to fall to greed. And that's all that we do, is we fall to greed. Our democracy is no longer a democracy. It's a theocracy. I don't know what the word is for, again, I'll bring it up in the next video. I need to make another sign video anyway, so it'll probably be right after this one, but it's a government run by money, not by the people. It's run by who can push as much money into somebody's pocket to get something passed. That's all that it is, and that's not right. We're no longer represented by our constituents. We're no longer represented by the people that we elected to the office to represent us. We need to change that. We do. We need to find people like myself who are willing to run and sit there and change the system and say, you know what? No, this isn't right. So, I appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. If you have any comments, please leave them below. This is actually here. This is down below. So I should be signing correctly down below. And I will talk to you later. Bye.